Welcome back to Cody in the Cinema. And today for Friday Night Film Noir, we are reviewing the 1990s hit The Crow starring Brandon Lee that I believe shares and embodies many film noir elements. This is being re-released in a few days into theaters. And famously and sadly, Brandon Lee was killed in an accident on set, so that adds a little bit of even more of a sad undertone to it. But I got the steelbook from Walmart, and it's really a nice looking piece of physical media. But if you're unfamiliar with this story, this guitarist, played by Brandon Lee, and his soon-to-be wife are murdered right around Halloween by a group of just awful bandits, and the rest of the movie is his vengeance. And you might be saying, well, he's dead. How is their vengeance? Aha, supernatural powers, because he's brought back from the grave, somehow through the power of this crow that watches over him and serves as sort of, quite literally, the eyes in the sky. And because of this power of this crow and this whatever's going on, our protagonist is able to have increased vision, that he can see through the bird, and he's nearly invincible and gets shot at. When he's back from the dead, it doesn't seem to matter too much. He heals very quickly in a Wolverine-esque fashion, as you will. And watching him go through and take care of each of the people who are involved in the assault and murder of him and his wife is satisfying, and it's a visually compelling story that I feel like shares so many elements with film noir. For one, I mean, there's literally a Maltese falcon with this crow. You think about the Humphrey Bogart movie. Another, just the whole thing is just shrouded in darkness and rain, and there's not a lot of daylight, and there's like crime corruption in the city involving the police. That might remind you of a few instances of that in film noir. Recently, I covered The Bad Sleep Well, the neo-noir from Japan, and this to me has a similar vibe in that sense that you can't really trust anyone in this movie in a position of authority. In fact, one of the great bad guys in this, the ringleader, so to speak, talks about anarchy and actually makes a pretty compelling point, despite the fact that some of his employees have caused this whole tragedy to happen. There are a few different compelling characters in this, including a police cop who sort of helps the Crow, Brandon Lee's character. But what really stands out in this movie is Brandon Lee, who embodies this thing in almost enthusiastic little kid kind of way at times. And what I mean is, he seems to know when he's on set and he's playing this character, it's like, I'm a little kid being a superhero. I'm aware that I have all these powers. How can I have the most gleeful, joyful time with this? And that comes through in his performance. At the same time, he can be quite menacing and terrifying. His martial art moves are great. And I've not seen a performance that feels this lived in while also being kind of campy and offbeat. It's really good stuff, and it's sad that he was accidentally murdered. Not murdered, murder would imply that it was on purpose, accidentally killed on set. And I didn't know before I watched this movie that this was the son of Bruce Lee, but extra tragic in that regard. So another reason that I would feel like, to me, this is a neo-noir film noir is that he's basically being a detective finding all of these people who committed these heinous acts against him and his wife. And the music is spectacular. He plays at one point on the top of this roof while it's dark and creepy outside, this like beautiful, I don't know if you call it punk rock or metal, what it was. I've only seen it once. That there are other parts of the film where the music is incorporated kind of naturally into the world building. And overall, as far as this taking multiple genres like science fiction, horror, film noir, you name it, and it's kind of put in here. It's really neat. Like I said, it's kind of campy. Some of the performances are as, I don't want to call them bad, but they're like, they don't feel exactly realistic or human. And I think it kind of works in the film's favor because it's not supposed to feel super realistic, but on the other hand, it is kind of dealing with the nitty gritty of crime. And it just really strikes a unique chord that I was glad to see. So I like The Crow. I highly recommend watching this even before Halloween. If you haven't got a copy of the Steelbook, it's awesome. And you can even probably see here on the back, there's like a burning crow. Because when the crow assassin kills people, he leaves some kind of drawing of a crow, all right, to indicate that he was there, including one that's on fire. And that was a really cool scene. But what do you think? Are you going to go watch the re-release? Have you seen it before? Have you never seen it? Maybe you're interested in the remake that's happening a little bit down the line. Let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time on Cody in the Cinema Friday Night Film Noir.